This part of today is very special to Mark in America, to our corporate team. We take this opportunity to remember somebody very, very special. And, you know, I guess for the past 19 years, 18 years, whatever it's been, we kind of tell the same stories. So if you heard them before, you're going to hear them again. If you didn't hear them, well, you're going to enjoy them because they're very memorable to us. They're part of our...
It's Jerry. You didn't mention Jerry. They're all about Jerry.
Of course they're all about Jerry. What are we standing here talking about somebody like the man in the moon? It's about Jerry.
But you didn't say Jerry.
Well, then, was that your part?
No, it's just that you were telling them that they're going to remember hearing stories that
Do me a favor. Go tell some stories about Jerry.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Jerry. You know, it's always amazing to remember somebody as special as Jerry Siciliano. You know, Jerry was our executive vice president when we first started, and he was a man of incredible heart. He had incredible talent with people, right, Mark? I mean, people just loved him. And I know that Marty and I and JR and Mark and the rest of the team spent many, many, many a days and nights with Jerry up until those last moments when he left us to go sponsor a couple people upstairs, right?
No question about it. He's watching us right now. We better be
He's definitely watching us right now. So we always like to honor him every year with a special award for a very special individual. But, you know, I want to tell you a little bit about Jerry. If you didn't know who Jerry was, that's okay. He was a funny guy.
Unbelievable.
He was so funny, and he had a way about him. I mean, if you met Jerry, Elizabeth will tell you, there was nothing this guy hadn't done. This guy was a firefighter, an ambulance driver, an x-ray director. He owned pizzerias. He owned like 2 nightclubs. What else did he do? He owned a Yamaha motorcycle place. I mean, all these things he would tell us he would do. And when I first met him, I used to tell JR, I was like, it's physically impossible that anybody did all these things. You can't possibly believe that. And he would be like, no, Loren, I'm telling you, it's true. I have a feeling he's telling the truth. I'm like, how could anybody have owned 2 pizzerias, 3 nightclubs, been an x-ray director, owned a Yamaha place, was an ambulance driver, it's a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? That's like, seems a little wacky. But truth be known, I don't know, many, many years ago, hate to date us, but probably 22 years ago, we were at Sally Jesse Raphael's studios. You remember Sally Jesse Raphael? And we were shooting a commercial over there, and there was Jerry and Marty, myself and JR and Mark Ashley were all up there. And we were doing the audience panel, and somebody from the audience screamed out, Jerry Siciliano. I haven't seen you in 20 years when I used to go to your pizzeria, and then I dropped down on the ground with a heart attack, and you drove me to the hospital in the ambulance. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this guy was telling the truth. You know what I mean? He was really telling the truth, and he had a way about him. He would try to do things that weren't quite accurate, but he would do them well. Like, for instance, anybody who knows JR and I, we've been married we just celebrated 24 years in December. And I always tell him, as long as you're nice, I'll keep you around for 6 more months. But when we met, you know, I was only 18. He was robbing the cradle. He says I picked him up, but there's more to that story. We don't have time. But we would go, and we were somewhere, Mark. I don't remember where we all were, but we were somewhere in a hotel, and it was during the O.J. Simpson chase. You remember that big chase with the cars, and O.J. Simpson was in the back of the trunk of some SUV, and it went on for like hours, and like the police were chasing him, and they were looking for the person who killed his wife, O.J. Simpson. Yeah. And we were in the hotel room, and I don't know what JR said. Obviously, he said something that was offensive to me, and we got in a huge fight. Now, both of us are very passionate people at everything we do, including fighting. Now, everybody knows that I don't back down in a fight. And everybody knows JR doesn't back down in a fight. So this fight was going on and on and on and on. And finally, I just like stormed out of the room and I was like, I'm not going to stay in this room with all of you guys. I'm leaving. I'm going to go back to my hotel room. I went down the hall, went to my room and knocked on the door, knock on the door, knock on the door. And I thought for sure it was JR, you know, but it wasn't. It was Jerry. And I'm like, Jerry, what is it? And he goes, Loren, JR is down the hall and he's crying so hard. Huh? Huh? And he said, JR is crying because he doesn't want you to be mad at him. And I said, Jerry, that doesn't sound like JR. And he said, baby, he loves you so much. He's so sorry. He realizes he's wrong. You know, he's growing as a person. It takes him a while to say he's sorry. But he's just over there sobbing. I think you should just go over there and give him a hug. Let's not talk about it. You should go over there and just give him a nice little hug and kiss and make up, and then we all just go watch OJ. Now, little did I know that after he finished telling me that and I was getting ready to put my shoes on, he left the room, and I was getting ready to walk over there and give JR a hug, because I thought, wow, he never does that. He was down there telling JR that I was over in my room crying and sorry. Now, I can assure you I wasn't sorry. He had a funny way, Marty, right, of bringing people together.
Incredible. Right?
A funny way of bringing people together. And I'll tell you this one more short story that I know you never tell. That's why I'm telling it.
No, tell it. It's okay.
But Mark loves to tell it, and I wish Mark was up here to tell it. In fact, Mark, will you just come up here real quick and tell everybody it, please? Because you tell it so good. I really would. Mark, you loved it, and Mark was there.
Yeah, well, this is, first of all, this is not planned, by the way. True story. Jerry taught me so many things. So many things. I can't even, we'd be here the rest of the night to go through them all, Tony. I mean, just so many things. But one time, if you all recall, especially the people in the early days, is Jerry used to run the certified training school. Remember that? And every certified training, so I was very young, wet behind the ears, I would sit back there with him. And he had a certain part of his program where he would actually have people go up, remember this, Elizabeth? And they would show certain parts of the plan. And he would grade everybody. True story, true, God is my witness. So one person goes up there and did a pretty good job. And again, Frank, I'm watching him grade everybody, seeing how he's testing him and grading him. First person who goes up there does a pretty good job, and I think he gives him like a B. It was all good. The next person who comes up, I thought did a really good job. Now, back in the day, we all used to go to Marty if we needed money back in the day, because he was the only one who had the deep pockets. This guy goes up, and it's step 2 of the plan, and does an incredible job. Incredible job. But he happened to owe Marty money. And Jerry looks over and goes, did he ever pay you back? And Marty's like, no, I'm still waiting for the money. He gave him a D.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
I don't know how much I'm getting out of this grading scale that he's doing. Then this young lady comes up.
Mark.
I think she does step 3 or step 4. Horrible. Horrible. As bad as I've seen it at that time. And he puts on his grading thing and he goes, B-. And I'm like, Jerry, what's going on? He goes, he used to call me Marcucho. He goes, Marcucho, she's got a nice tush. I'm like, so I could never figure out how he got his grading, but he was an amazing person. He was just an amazing person.
Really was.
Right, and that's good.
That's a true story.
Thank you for sharing that. That was a very true story.
Wow. You know, Mark in America really, we're so fortunate to have Jerry, which we all feel were the best years of his life. All that he acquired over his lifetime, he just seemed to pour right back into Mark in America, knowing that this was his legacy. This was his greatest contribution to his friends and to his family. You know, those of you who had the pleasure and the privilege, quite frankly, of meeting Jerry will find this video that we're about to play very memorable. And for those of you who have never met him, well, we hope through this video you may get a great feeling of what an extraordinary individual he is. And by the way, it's him singing in the background. So you want to roll the video, please?
Years ago, I told you we didn't have any instructors. We used to prospect really unorthodox. I was in New York once prospecting, and I had a cane, white cane and sunglasses on, and I had four people in a row help me cross the street. And in the middle of the street, I tell them I'm not really blind, but I'm looking for someone that would help a blind man. And because you did, I've got an opportunity for you.
To be young at heart, for as rich as you are, it's much better by far to be young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, look at all you'll derive out of being alive. Here is the best part, you have a head start if you are among the very young at heart.
To work with fellas like Dennis and Marty and JR and Loren, who I love like a sister. It's just an amazing thing, the honors that they have bestowed on me. 3 years ago when I joined JR, he says, "What do you really want, Jerry?" As JR, I'm getting of age, and I want to leave this industry a hero. I want to leave with a winning company. And he gave me what I wanted.
You have a head start if you are amongst the very young at heart.
You know, for those of you who have been to my office in Greensboro, big picture of Jerry. And distributors, unfranchised owners, often bring people to say hello to the corporate team there. And on so many occasions, people have asked me, what's the single most, like the greatest thing about Mark America? How would you really define it? And I point to the picture of Jerry. And I say, you know, here's somebody who was with us from the beginning for about 3.5, 4 years. I mean, those were tough years. We didn't have anything like we have today. And in those 3.5, 4 years, he built an incredible business. For the past 18 years, his family, his wife Isabel, this is true residual income, over $250,000 every year, based upon what Jerry did. You realize you'd have to have like $20 million in the bank just to earn that today? Truly is an incredible example of what our company really is all about. At this time, I'd like to call up to the stage Jerry's son, Thomas, Thomas's wife, Angela, and their son, Angelo. It's a beautiful family. Unfortunately, Isabel is a little bit under the weather. She couldn't be here. Thomas.
Yes.
Want to say a few words?
I'm so happy to be here. Especially to be able to share this with my wife and our son. when my mom asked me to come represent the family, I thought it was going to be easy, but you know, it doesn't matter how many times you see this tribute, you know, I just get emotional, so it's a little hard. You know, JR, my father believed in you, and he believed in the Mark in America opportunity, and he believed in you guys too. And he would be so happy to see where Mark in America has come. So it's amazing. It's amazing. I want to thank the Mark in America family for honoring my father every year with this award. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. I want you to read.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I have it on the big screen?
No. I got it for you here. Look.
That's a negative, right? Okay. Let me read it. Thank you, Marty. Can you hold that? Okay. Like an eagle with strength of heart and clear vision, you have ridden the currents of belief, loyalty, respect, credibility, and the love of the Mark in America opportunity. You have soared into and through the storm's fury, enabling those that follow to again believe that their dreams can come true.
Okay.
This year.
This year's
drum roll.
Recipient.
Let's get a drum roll.
Oh, a drum roll. Wow. Well, this year's
Wait a minute. First, 2015.
This year's recipient of the Jerry Siciliano Fighting Eagle Award goes to
Frank and Gingy Kiefer.
This is unbelievable. I'm totally overwhelmed. I love Jerry, and he played a trick on me one time, and when we were doing the meetings, he said, tomorrow morning, we're going to open up the meeting with you singing. I did not get a moment's sleep that night. But I did okay. This is, I wish that Isabel could have been here. We just love her too. This is so nice. I put her.
Thank you. I appreciate this. Gingy and I were blessed to be the first directors of training under Jerry, who was the vice president of training. And Gingy, with our artistic ability, 22 years ago, would go around and set up product displays based on seasons and holidays and things like that. And I would put together some training programs. There's so many people that I'd like to thank, but I'm afraid if I started, I would forget somebody. But I want you to know that every person in here that I know has inspired me in some way or another.
You may not realize that. You may be a new person, but there was some spark in you that's motivated me. I know about 22 years ago, JR told me at that time that I was the hardest working man that he'd ever met in his life. And Tony and Pam said the same thing. And it is true that I probably I don't want to use the word worked, I probably participated in Market America 18 or 20 hours a day. The way our bedroom was situated, the sun would come in the morning and wake me up, and I could not wait to get out of bed and dive on this. But I have to tell JR and Tony and Pam that I've never worked a day in this business. Every day has been fun. And the corporate team works, but if you're an independent distributor, once you understand the essence of this business, there's no work involved at all. You're paid to have fun. You're paid to help people achieve their dreams, their unwanted, unfulfilled wants, needs, and desires. And I think once you understand that, the business takes on a whole new meaning. It drives me crazy when people talk about the ups and downs in this business and the peaks and the valleys. The only time you have a downtime is if you're trying to talk somebody into this business to make you rich and they don't come in. Then you're bummed because you're not filling your wallet. But if you understand that you're paid to be Santa Claus, it doesn't get any better than that. You know, the irony is I happened to catch a flash of myself on the big screen earlier this morning. And damn if I'm not starting to look like Santa Claus. And that's it. You know, this doesn't have to be a 3-year business. If you love this business the way we loved it, you can accelerate that process. All you have to do is look for people that have a dream, and if they don't have a dream, learn to ask those questions that will stimulate them to realize that there's something in their life that's missing. You know, a friend of mine asked me once, if money wasn't an issue, how would your life be different? Let me ask you the same question. You know, a friend of mine asked me once, is there anything you wanted to do as a kid that you never did? And I got to thinking about it. How about you? And when you learn to ask questions like that, you can help people to get inside of their own mind. And what you want them to do is to get into their own mind to the degree that they become passionate about something that's missing. And if you can do that, you're ahead of the game. And it's not easy to do. It takes practice. You know, I used to tell people that I turned down more people than I brought in, and a lot of people doubted that. All you got to do is ask Andy Webb. You know, what hoops did you have to jump through to get in? And he finally got in because he had a dream. He wanted to lift weights and play with his kids. Other people that I brought into the business had a track record of success. Money's not always the answer. A lot of times it's time. So don't prejudge people. Look for that unfulfilled want, need, or desire, and then offer to help people achieve it, and you'll take it to the top. You know, within our first 3 years, we'd earned over $1 million. Our first year, we earned $126,000. Our annualized income was $400,000. The second year, we earned $400,000. Our annualized income was $600,000. By our third year, we'd earned over $600,000, but our annualized income was over $900,000. So you can do whatever you want with this business if you put your mind to it. But if you take the focus off of yourself and look to help other people, the sky's the limit. Thank you.